all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.
And all of those things. And then I said to myself, well, we're doing great. We're doing great. I went to Susie, my beautiful Susie Wiles. There's nobody like Susie. I went to Susie. Right? And everybody's with her, and she's a great woman, really. She's a great woman. But I went to Susie. I always go to Susie. I said, Susie, do you mind if I take a little excursion here? Do you mind if I... You know, we're hitting all these records, right? More people are working in the United States today than ever before. I could name this. I don't want to bore you because this is all about Ireland. This is all about, but you're a big part of it because you're a big part of this country. But I said, do you mind if I take a little excursion, my chief of staff, because I want to do this. I have Marco here. We have a lot of our great people. JD is here. They're all here, and I say, let's do this. We got to do it right. Should have been done by many presidents. Should have been done long before 47 years. It's 40 years of living in terror. You know, they're called the bully of the Middle East, but they're really the bully of the world because they used oil to bribe, right? They used oil to bribe and to, you know, gain power. I don't know what they gained. What did they gain? What the hell? How are they doing? Not so good.
Are you rethinking the United States' relationship with NATO, possibly getting out?
Well, I'm disappointed in NATO that we spend trillions of dollars on NATO. Think of it, trillions over the years, many trillions of dollars. It's one of the reasons we have deficits and we help other countries. And when they don't help us, I mean, it's certainly something that we should think about. I don't need Congress for that decision, as you probably know. I can make that decision myself. I'd work with some very smart people. And I'd always deal with Congress anyway, but I don't need Congress for that decision. But, you know, when you say rethink, I have nothing currently in mind, but I will say that I'm not exactly thrilled when we help them with Ukraine. Look, Ukraine would have been over in one day if we didn't help. Frankly, Ukraine would have been over in the first day. They had the best equipment in the world. It was our equipment, given by Sleepy Joe Biden. No charge, no charge. Hundreds of billions of dollars of the best equipment in the world, no charge. I will say that I'm not happy about it.
Mr. President, two questions.
You see that man right there? You know who that is?
Churchill.
That's the late, great Winston Churchill. And Barack Hussein Obama did not want his bust in this office. Did you know that? And Barack Hussein Obama sent that bust back to England. They didn't want it. And when I came in, I was asked if I wanted it. I said, absolutely, I want it. And I put it right there, Winston Churchill. And, you know, unfortunately, Keir is not Winston Churchill.
Mr. President, on Joe Kent. Mr. President.
I mean, the only thing, and I agree with everything you said, but we helped with Ukraine.
Yes.
And they don't help with Iran. And they all acknowledge that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. You yourself say it. You know, these are horrendous people. And these are the worst people. And going back to Hitler, right? Going back to Hitler. These are the.
Two questions, one on Iran and one on Cuba. Is Iran now a bigger foreign policy priority for you than China? And on Cuba, the Cuban government.
Iran is just a military operation to me. Iran is something that was essentially largely over in 2 or 3 days because the Navy was wiped out almost immediately. The Air Force came next. The anti-aircraft came next. I mean, we're flying over Iran. We could take out their electric capacity in 1 hour. We have all the, there's nothing they can do right now because everything is knocked out. They have no radar, no anti-aircraft. They have nothing. And we don't, and it was a decision I made. We discussed it, Pete, Marco, JD, all of us, Chris. We discussed it. We can knock out their electricity in a matter of minutes if we wanted to. There's nothing they can do about it.
Congressman, Democrats have repeatedly expressed deep concern over ICE being at polling places, but if illegals aren't voting in American elections, as you just alleged, then why is that of such great concern?
Oh, because people with guns around a polling place would be intimidating to lots of Americans, and why would they even be at a polling place, right? There's no reason for that. And I am glad that the administration has repeatedly said they're not going to have ICE near polling places.
And the House is now House Republicans, many of them, are now stating that they're not going to take up any bills coming in from the Senate until the Save America Act is passed. What's the Democrats' take on that?
I'm fine if the Republican House doesn't want to take up any bills from the Republican-controlled Senate.
Mr. Prime Minister, I wanted you to know the President asked me to come and make sure you were okay.
Yes, Mike. Yes, I'm alive.
I checked that, and I'm happy to see that. But he wanted to make sure because, you know, you guys get along too well.
I know, and we shake hands with 5 fingers in each hand. You know, but I have to tell you, I'm alive, but I have this card.
Oh.
And, yeah, don't read it. So it's a punch card.
Mm-hmm.
Today I erased 2 names on the punch cards, and you see how many more to go on this batch.
You know what the good news is? My name is not on the punch card.
Your name is on the list of the good guys.
Thank you.
And what the president, the U.S. forces are doing is incredible. We're very proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with them. And getting rid of these lunatics who would like to develop nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them to every American city after wiping out Israel. They ain't going to do that. We're wiping them out.
I love it. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. Good to see you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank you.
Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day.
If you enjoy having a cell phone, thank Israel for that.
I came into Congress 13 years ago with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate. And I've worked every day to do that.
Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel.
Does that mean I think we should put the interests of America over Israel? No.
It's one of the most important things I do, to watch, be the guardian of Israel.
Israel today, Israel tomorrow, Israel forever. God bless you.
Stand with me, with Israel, with our ally.
There is no Palestinian state, no matter how many papers they put out.
Our prayer is that America will always stand with Israel.
I have said to people when they ask me if this capital crumbled to the ground, the one thing that would remain is our commitment to our aid, and I don't even call it aid, our cooperation with Israel.
It is up to Israel, and we should support our allies wherever they are when they're fighting the bad guys.
Israel is our greatest ally.
So to our allies in Israel and to the Jewish people around the world, my message to you is this: reinforcements are on the way.
And he loves Israel too.
Sure.
All right, Tuesday night, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing good. As always, be blessed in the mighty name of Jesus. Let me say it to everybody in the chat. Auntie Mama is on. Captain Cliff is on. JGCK is on. Sedensmore is on. Guitar Glenn is on. Spoken 007 is on. General Plowman is on. Robin Aroni is on. Granite 2468 is on. Big Jim Go Blue is on. Skunk 71 is on. K4 VMS is on. Trev McGroin is on. Spoken 007 is on. Let me see here. Jeannie Malfeasy is on. N Johns 127 is on. Mike Griffith is on. Agravane is on. Veronica 18201 is on. Alpha Acres is on. Hanslick Donovan is on. Sheila K is on. Let me see. Peg McGroin is on. Mr. Cool Dude is on. Ever Eden is on. Let me see here. Scrolling down. Release the Hog is on. Keeper 1376 is on. Stephen Toms is on. Jim Brody is on. Gloyd Shaw is on. Judy Anita is on. Luann 5 is on. Let me grab a couple more here. Conservative Warrior 65 is on. Big Scott 1 is on. Sexy Pony is on. CA 1960 is on. Scrolling down. Let me grab a couple more here. Mimi 24 is on. Big Scott 1 is on. Let me grab a couple more here. Let me see. Here's Bud Dave is on. Somebody I haven't seen yet. Serene Pickle is on. USA Abigail is on. Patrina C is on. Love you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. All right, so let's hop into this. Joe Kent, the director of National Counterterrorism Center, of the National Counterterrorism Center, resigned today, March 17th, in protest, this is from Grok, over the ongoing U.S. war with Iran under President Trump. Kent, a retired Green Beret combat veteran, Gold Star husband, his wife was killed in action, and longtime Trump supporter, announced his immediate resignation via a letter posted on X, formerly Twitter. As a matter of fact, let me see here. We'll just read it. Oh, wait, no, that's not what I have next. That's not what we have next. Oh, that's great. Thank you guys for overcoming me. There it is right here. After much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of National Counterterrorism Center, as director of the National Counterterrorism Center. Effective today, I cannot in good conscience support an ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat. By the way, that's true. Now you have Trump. You guys can, we'll try to fix the order, Will. Sorry about blowing up the show right in front of you. But anyway, I yell at Will and then blow it up myself. But anyway, you saw in the pregame, Trump said that, and I just want to always say this to you, before I get into attacking Trump on Iran, because I'm going to do that. We got the Joe Kent resignation. Then we have the Iran section of the show right after that. Who knows? I mean, maybe I'll skip it and do something else. I don't know. I'm so sick of talking about Iran, the Strait of Hormuz, and everything else. You guys might want to be prepared to hop all over the place tonight, because I'm so sick of talking. This is what happens with me, as I get sick of talking about the same subject night in and night out, when nothing really has changed. But back in the pregame, Donald Trump said, Joe Kent says here, Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. Now, I want everybody to name the imminent threat to our nation. I know the imminent threat to those stationed in the Middle East. I get that. But the imminent threat to our nation, and by the way, I mean, Aaron, see if you can find this out. How many Americans have been killed by Iran that we know about overseas in the Middle East? And you ask Rock or something. But anyway, so the threat would be to people like Will when they were stationed in Iraq, being killed by roadside bombs, being killed from, maybe extraneous missiles or whatever it may be, or terrorists that were funded by Iran, or, Houthis funded by Iran, Hezbollah funded by Iran, Hamas. I agree with all that. And I agree that Iran is evil, and they're evil because they're Islamic. But I will assert anybody that's not under the blood of Jesus Christ is evil, because the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked, and who can know it? And you can only have a new heart once you've been saved. Jeremiah 17:9. So anyway, and that's where Jesus came in and said, I will replace your heart of stone with a heart of flesh. So there's none righteous, no, not one. Jesus also said that. So anyway, and so that means, yes, I don't agree that Iran obviously I believe is evil. And I believe that Israel is evil. I believe that the UK is evil. They are. And I believe us, when we're not guided by Christ, are evil. Everybody, the United States, every single person. Brazil's evil. If you're not guided by the blood of Jesus Christ. That's why you have like Bukele down in El Salvador, who appears to be guided by Christ-like principles, or is a Christian himself. His country seems to be doing very, very well and does not appear to be an evil man. And it's the same thing. You can name a real life, I'm talking about a real Christian. People say sometimes that Trump is a Christian, became a Christian. I haven't seen any evidence of that, really. But Aaron just sent this to me. So here's the threat. Since 2016, so 10 years, roughly 16 to 20 Americans killed, mostly military, a few contractors, with the vast majority occurring in the 2026 war escalation. So there you go. So we've had 16 to 20 Americans killed by Iran, right, Aaron? Yep. Killed by Iran in 10 years, 7 of them in the last 13 days. And Trump in the pregame says that they are akin to Hitler. How? Aaron, find me how many Americans were killed in World War II. So there you go. So Iran posed, and according to Joe Kent, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, says that Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. Don't we always hear that Iran poses a terroristic threat to the United States? This is the head of the Center of National Counterterrorism, and he says there's no threat. And not one of us, and listen, you may be pro this war, and that's fine. We can still be friends. There's probably people that attend my church that are pro this war. They may not attend anymore, but that attend this church. But we can still be fellow followers of Christ, and because there are arguments to be made for this attack, granted, but there's no imminent threat. All right, so Trump in the pregame makes Iran akin to Adolf Hitler. And in the last 10 years, not belittling the death of any American soldier, but some of these aren't even soldiers, they're also contractors. What was it, Aaron? 16 to 20. Yeah. 16 to 20 Americans have been killed by Iran. Almost all in the Middle East, and 7 out of that 20. So 7 out of those 20 were killed in the last 13 days in this war. So how are they a threat? Can anybody mention, if you want to do something absolutely radical and take control of the Strait of Hormuz or do something like that, even that has no vital American interest because only 2% of our oil goes through there. So none of it makes any sense. And remember, always follow the timeline. The original intent of this war was to aid the protesters. What has happened with the protesters? Aaron, how are things going with the protesters?
Oh, fantastic.
I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing. You can't even, Aaron's not even doing his typing thing because there's nothing to check. Yeah. What happened to the protesters against the Khomeini regime? Oh, we just have another Khomeini in charge now.
Oops.
We had Ali Khomeini, and now I can't even pronounce the name. His son is now the new Khomeini, a new Ayatollah. So what's the point? Can anybody tell me what the point of this war is? To diminish their nuclear capacity? Again, that's been espoused since 1984 that they were weeks away. So Trump says that Iran is akin to the Nazi regime, approximately. Now remember, it's 15 to 20, so who knows how many it really is. But 7 in the last 13 days. 20 Americans have been killed by Iran in the last 10 years. In the 4 years of our involvement in World War II, approximately 405 to 420,000 Americans died during those 4 years. And I know that's not just from Germany, but the vast majority of them were in the European theater. So that comparing Iran to the Nazis, how are they? And what territory in the EU or any Western civilization has Iran taken ever? And you're like, Tom, you sound like you're pro-Iran. No, I'm not rooting for Iran. I'm rooting for the United States now because we're in this war, and I'm a patriot. And I'm not like some of these weirdos are out there and actually sort of rooting for Iran. I'm not. I'm rooting for a quick victory. I believe Trump should declare victory right now and get the heck out of there because it's getting worse and worse, and he's dispatching more and more troops there, just so everybody knows. That's how it's going right now. But Joe Kent said, Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. It is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby, says the director, not some right-wing extremist, not somebody who's ever come out against Israel, not even someone like me who is definitely prone to be anti-Israel. But this is from Joe Kent, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center. And you notice how quiet Tulsi Gabbard is now? Where is Tulsi Gabbard? Does she even exist anymore? Did she fly off to Mars? Because again, there we have our DNI, Director of National Intelligence, saying nothing. How did we get into this war? Nothing. Nothing's being said. But Joe Kent says, due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby, and Aaron, you can go wild tonight on AIPAC donation things if you want to find any of those. The powerful American lobby, i.e. AIPAC. So he knows because he's in the inner workings of anti-terrorism, counterterrorism, which would also include counterterrorism efforts helping Israel. It has been an honor serving under the President of the United States and DNI Gabbard and leading the professionals at the NCTC. You know how big a deal it has to be to resign that post? So let's go back on this now. Let's go to this video. Going to C. Weber, because I've screwed this whole show up.
Gotcha.
So going to C. Weber.
Roger, ready.
Flashback when Joe Kent went on Tucker's show in January 2024 and spewed a whole bunch of this C. Weber, obviously against Joe Kent. But here's what he actually said on Tucker. Play for me.
Let me just ask you one last question, because he called it 60 years ago. You referred to what a war with Iran would do to the United States. And I don't know that a lot of people in this country fully understand what Iran is as a nation state. It's not Afghanistan. What do you think the immediate and then longer term effects of a war with Iran would be on the United States?
Immediately, it would be very bloody. I have no doubt that we could probably defeat some of their air defense and go in there and have another shock and awe campaign. But again, like we saw how the shock and awe campaign in Iraq really didn't actually work in the long run. So I have no doubt that we'd have some immediate results that people would cheer about here in the United States. But Iran, Persia has always been an empire. It's been around longer than any of the other players in the modern Middle East right now, and they are not going anywhere. And right now, Iran has a lot of internal problem. They have a lot of internal strife with the Ayatollah and that government that's only been in power since 1979. But again, if we start conducting strikes in Iran, everyone in Iran will rally around their leader, and they will become even more revolutionary. And then we will have Iranian proxies throughout the entire region that will be conducting attacks just like we had in Jordan. And really, in the long term, Tucker, the axis that has been built really since Putin invaded Russia, and we decided that since Putin invaded Ukraine, and we decided we were going to throw this massive sanctions package at them, China has come in as a major player, and we are deeply compromised by China. They control a lot of our economy. They control global manufacturing. They're deeply embedded in Wall Street, and they've also made deals with the Iranians. They want access to Iranian petro, not to mention the fact that Biden killed off U.S. energy independence, and now he's going after LNG, and the world's biggest LNG exporters are Iran, Russia, and Qatar. So this axis would become very powerful. If we get deeply involved and deeply entangled with Iran, we are playing right into China's hands, because China would like nothing more than for us to be committing our military industrial base to a war in Eastern Europe, in Ukraine, and then to be committing our conventional military power, our blood and our treasure, back in the Middle East. That will make the Pacific, our actual border, extremely vulnerable to Chinese aggression. Or China will simply just watch us bleed out economically as we bleed out on the battlefield on these couple different theaters. It's absolute insanity. It's opening up Pandora's box. And again, for what gain to the American people?
I mean, I think that's the most reasonable, common sense based, factual assessment I've seen of this from anyone.
All right, well, so we're skipping the next one. That was the order, so we'll go to Speaker Mike Johnson. So Eric Doherty video. Speaker Mike Johnson fires back at former NCTC Director Joe Kent. Play for me.
Ran for Congress, resigned as the director of the Counterterrorism Center. He wrote that he cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. He writes, Iran posed no imminent threat to our nature. It's clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. How do you respond to that and to those other Republicans who say that this war is actually putting foreign interests above domestic interests?
Well, that proposition at the end is clearly wrong. I'm on the Gang of Eight. I got all the briefings. We all understood there was clearly an imminent threat, that Iran was very close to the enrichment of nuclear capability, and they were building missiles at a pace that no one in the region could keep up with. They were far outpacing our allies and friends and us in our defense capability, because we had personnel, installations, members of the armed services, and civilians in the region. Iran was building up ballistic missiles at such a rapid pace, and we knew that their plan was to fire them upon Americans. The commander-in-chief and his administration had a very difficult decision to make. I don't know where Joe Kent is getting his information, but he wasn't in those briefings, clearly, because the Secretary of State, the Secretary of War, and everyone, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Kane, they had exquisite intelligence, and we understood that this was a serious moment for us. Had the president waited, I am personally convinced that we would have mass casualties of Americans, service members and others, and our installations would have been dramatically damaged. And so the president felt that he had to strike first to prevent those mass casualties.
All right, so I'm having fun reading the chat here, and I just want to address a couple things that have been said. Aaron, if you could put that up there. So you got the Joe Kent he didn't resign. Then why did it catch Trump by surprise? He was fired. Okay, that's one thing for leaking sensitive classified information. So we did a quick search to see if any of that is true over all of X. So if you're going to say these things, and I get told by one or two people on here, I need to do my research, or I'm going to be exposed, or whatever it may be. And I can mention your names if you guys want to go that way. We can. I'll fight you. I don't care. And here it is. Saying Joe Kent got fired for leaking sensitive information appeared to be post-resignation attacks to discredit him, often from pro-administration voices reacting to his anti-war stance and criticism of Israel. Notice how I don't lie, but you do. Do you notice that? You notice how I don't lie? I just go ahead and talk about the great things that Trump has done. I don't lie about it. I don't say that. I don't say that. You know what? Trump, received some information from some source and this source and that. No. I just, whatever he does, I go off of what he says. I go off of what he does. No sources. The person who said for me to do my research, okay, just did. No sources. And for those of you that are espousing that Joe Kent, Green Beret, Bronze Star winner, Joe Kent leaked classified information, which would be treason. Very interesting, right? I think you might be getting him confused with Mike Waltz. No sources indicate he was formally fired. You said that he was. Investigated, charged, or removed, specifically for leaking. Instead, reports consistently describe his exit as a resignation effective immediately amid the Iran war controversy. So those of you that are saying this, listen, still love you, but you're wrong and you're lying and you're espousing lies. You have no evidence of any of those things. You have no evidence that he leaked information. You have nothing. When we had Mike Waltz, we had the Signal chat and the links directly attached to him. And everybody have them. And then Mike Waltz was fired by Trump and removed and put out into whatever political desert he's living in now as a UN ambassador or whatever he is. But you guys that are saying that Joe Kent resigned, that Joe Kent was fired for leaking classified information. And then the same people on here are talking about Candace Owens, who I don't even like Candace Owens, but it's hysterical to me that you are Candace Owens. Because you're making it up. You have no evidence of any of that. You have nothing. Nothing. Show me a report from any reliable source. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Bannon, or you can even go from Mark Levin. Go ahead. You have nothing. And then you go, somebody put in there, Tucker Carlson is the next Candace Owens. You are Candace Owens if you believe this crap. Oh yeah, he was fired. There's no evidence at all. A, that he was fired. B, that he was fired for leaking classified information. It's all lies. It's all lies. And what's so funny again to me is that you are believing all the COVID whores again. The exact same people that pushed all the COVID stuff are pushing this war. The worst nation on earth when it came to COVID was Israel. You had to have a biometric vaccine passport to function anywhere in Israel. So please don't even bother. When you're going to espouse absolute bull crap in my chat, you're going to be called out for it if I happen to see it. Sometimes I look, sometimes I can't, but whatever, I glance at it, and that's just absolute crap. And now that you've been humiliated, what you should do is break out those vaunted 3 words. I was wrong. But you won't, because pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. You won't do it. You just espouse lies. Joe Kent was fired, not fired, for leaking classified information, didn't leak classified information. And now this resignation has been going on for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and not one report has come out backing up what you've said. Not one. As you denigrate a war veteran, a Green Beret, a Gold Star husband, you denigrate him and you lie about him. Boy, you sound just like the Democrats. But as long as you're not doing it for Trump, it makes it right. As long as you do it for Trump, it makes it right then, right? Are you espousing that Trump never does anything wrong? Is that what you're saying? He's not. I want to reveal this to a few people in the chat. Trump is not God. I just want to reveal that to you. He's not God. He makes huge mistakes just like the rest of us have. He makes giant mistakes. He listens to the wrong people just like the rest of us have. And he's listened to the wrong people here. And according to the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, he listened too much to Israel. And because not one of you who are espousing this war can give me one person, but kill the evil people. Oh, that's good. Why don't you kill the people that are actually a threat to us then? Tough guy. Hey, tough guy. Kill all the evil people. I mean, you know, because Will's a war veteran. I could send Will in there as artillery unit. It's vastly superior to any other artillery unit in the Middle East. And yeah, he's going to win. All right, but let's send Will in against China's artillery unit. Will's unit's going to suffer casualties. How about Russia's? He's going to suffer casualties. Why don't, if we're supposed to go kill all the evil people, let's think about that. Kill all the evils, right? Well, China has killed at least 500 million of their own people and currently are running concentration camps where people are actually zip-tied and bound, put on trains and driven to their concentration camps. But none of you tough guys want to go after China, do you? Where you at, tough guy? Oh, you want to attack Iran? Because we can just do basically endless air attacks on Iran for year after year after year like we did in Iraq and Afghanistan and suffer minimal casualties. Not one of you pro-Iran war people can actually espouse the imminent threat that Iran is to America. They're evil. Okay, well then we need to attack Brazil then because Brazil is now run by an evil dictator. We need to attack them too. And by the way, that would make a little bit more sense because at least it's in our hemisphere. I mean, when Trump talks about Cuba right now, at least it makes sense because Cuba is approximately 200 miles from where my fat butt is sitting right now. That makes at least sense to me. Aaron, see how far Iran is actually from us.
Okay.
From Tampa, Florida. Just Iran, Tampa to Iran. Just Tampa to Tehran, Iran. So again, show me your sources. Send them in the chat. Go ahead. You know why? It's just like asking Christians. Show me the Bible verse that you're standing on. I would love to see it because there isn't one. You just want to believe it. And those of you that want to believe that Joe Kent was fired for leaking classified information, you want to believe it so that it validates your belief that Trump is a deity. So Tehran, Iran, from where I'm sitting right now, is 7,125 miles away. You know how far their missiles can reach? 100 to 500 miles. 7,125 miles away, and that's what we're going to bomb. That's what we're going to bomb. So I guess now let's look at Trump's official statement. After the resignation from Disclosed TV, there's my source that none of you have that are espousing that Joe Kent was fired or likely classified information. I think, and Trump would have said in this brief 38-second video, now Trump says it's a good thing that Joe Kent resigned. Let's listen for the classified information part, and let's listen for the part where Trump fired him. Let's listen for that. Ready? Play it.
Your director of national counterterrorism, Joe Kent, he just resigned today. He said he can't support your conflict with Iran. What's your reaction to that? And did you?
Well, I read his statement. I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well, but I thought he seemed like a pretty nice guy. But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it.
How are they a threat? Give me a list. I would love a list of the threats of Iran. I mean, you'd have to give me a list of them. I would love to see it because there isn't any. There really is no imminent threat. What he said was, he didn't say they weren't a threat. He said they weren't an imminent threat. If we want to watch them and pay attention to them, stir up a color revolution led by the CIA and the NSA, fine. No problem with that. Okay, I wish the Ayatollahs were gone. But now what are we going to do? You're going to go to Pakistan? Pakistan doesn't like us much either. And neither does India. And both of them. By the way, what is India a part of? The BRICS movement. So they're moving into the Chinese yuan. They're evil. Right? We're going to go nuke 1.2 billion people. Is that what we're going to do? They're evil. That's what you're espousing, right? And what's so funny here is, once again, I'm just curious, because that was well after the resignation. So all you people, I'm just curious. Well, there wasn't all you people. It was like one or two of you in the chat. Why didn't Trump mention that leaking of classified information? That's weird, isn't it? He didn't say it. And that he fired him. I mean, the first person that would have said he fired him would be Donald Trump. Will we all agree? We'll skip that one. Let me see what we got next one. All right, here, let's go to Larry Conger. All right, so on to the actual Iran war. So here's, now again, we're going to go to China first, and I'll show you the point that I'm making. Listen to what Pete Hegseth, Larry Conger video, listen to what Pete Hegseth had to say about China prior to being the Secretary of War. Play it for me.
China's Navy is astronomically bigger than what we have now at this point. I mean, they're building, I can't remember, is it like a new aircraft carrier every year or every couple of months or something like that? We can't do that.
The Pentagon is in the book, the exact amount of years, but in the past X number of years, 10, 12, 15, the Pentagon has a perfect record in all of its war games against China. We lose every time inside the Pentagon war games. We know what our real capability. You see, we didn't even get to this part of the war on warriors. I mean, the military-industrial complex, the way we procure weapon systems. We're always, the way our system works, the way our bureaucratic system works, where the speed of weapons procurement works, we're always a decade behind in the last war. Whereas China, we have, what did Rumsfeld say? You go to the war, the army you have. We have the army. China's building an army specifically dedicated to defeating the United States of America. That is their strategic outset. Take hypersonic missiles. So if our whole power projection platform is aircraft carriers and the ability to project power that way strategically around the globe, and yeah, we have a nuclear triad and all of that, but a big part of it. And if 15 hypersonic missiles can take out our 10 aircraft carriers in the first 20 minutes of a conflict, what does that look like?
Yeah.
I mean, and if they've already got us by the balls economically, which you pointed out very well, with our grid, culturally, there's plenty of elite capture going on around the globe. I mean, and then microchips and everything. Why do they want Taiwan? They want to corner the market completely on the technological future. We can't even drive our cars without the stuff we need out of China these days. I mean, they have a full spectrum, long-term view of not just regional but global domination, and we have our heads up our asses.
Yeah.
And that's the terrorist threat of our border. By the way, China probably has more people here, as many or more than these terrorist organizations planted.
You know what they're doing?
Zink and Ivy puts on the chat. Joe Kent ran for Republican Senate, 11 deployments, wife murdered in Afghanistan. Oh yeah, he's a fervent Democrat. All right. Unbelievable. I mean, listen, folks, I've never even been a big Joe Kent fan.
Right. Yeah.
I badmouthed Joe Kent on the show. Yep. But you know what my badmouths were? Actually factual. Based on facts. Based on a stance that he took, and I didn't like the stance that he took. I can't remember what it was at this point, but I didn't like it. But I could show you where he took the stance. And those of you who are saying, I mean, I love you guys saying that I don't care who it is. It's a basic, it's all gone online. If it rises to the level where Grok knows about it, it needs to be addressed. Joe Kent was fired. He was leaking classified information. Okay, that needs to be addressed because that's a lie. Those are lies. Okay. If I espouse an opinion, I will tell you that it's my opinion. Otherwise, what I'm saying is either truth or lies. Would everybody agree?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So I will tell you if it's my opinion. Joe Kent, there is no information that he was fired for that. I mean, wasn't fired that he was fired or fired for that. So anyway, so here you have Pete Hegseth talking here. And by the way, I like Pete Hegseth. I wanted him to be Secretary of Defense, and now it's Secretary of War. I wanted him to be those things, okay? And I like how Trump's prosecuting the war. I do. I don't think we should be in the war. See how that is? You know why? Because I could sit here and make up crap like some of these idiots are doing, what I call the MAGA morons, Trump sycophants, Trump worshipers. You shouldn't be a worshiper of a human being. You should understand the fallibility of all humans. But anyway, I could sit here and talk about why aren't all the mines out of the Strait of Hormuz yet? And denigrate the effort. Why? They've crushed Iran. Iran has no navy. It's all sitting in the bottom of the sea. They have no air defense. We're flying over there. You and I could fly commercially into Iran right now. They have no ability to do anything. They've crushed them, all right? And that's why you should get up and leave now, because you never should have been there to begin with. But to get out now, all right? You've killed all their leaders. What else is left? And again, this is my problem. Did any of us go in there to minesweep the Strait of Hormuz? Did you? Did you go in there? No, we went in there to stir up a color revolution. What's happened with that? Now all the people that were part of that revolution hate us too, because we bombed a school full of kids that have 160 girls in it. And then Trump lies about it when there's a tomahawk photographed in the air over the school right before impact. I mean, I don't like any of that crap, okay? I mean, and it's just garbage. You know what? Collateral damage happens. I expect people to be accidentally killed in wars. I get it. And I wouldn't denigrate the military over it. It's very difficult to discern what building is which. But anyway, so you have Pete Hegseth on this video talking about, and we've talked about it on this podcast before, that they war game us against the Chinese Navy. Well, since the Marines are still considered part of the Navy, which Will probably doesn't like me saying that, but anyway,
they're a good tactic.
the Navy, they're someone like Will. That's their boat ride. That's how they look at the Navy. My dad, career naval officer, Vietnam vet. But anyway, all the war gaming that's going on between us, because our base of power are our aircraft carriers. Being able to dispatch basically a base to anywhere with incredible firepower anywhere we want to go, right? And we have around, I think it's 10, 20, something like that, aircraft carriers. I'm not sure how many. But anyway, Aaron, find that for me, would you?
Yeah.
But anyway, how many aircraft carriers we have? But anyway, so we can dispatch them all over. Now, the Chinese Navy, according to the Pentagon, is more technologically advanced and far bigger than ours. Now, is that actually true? Who knows? Because here's the thing, credit to our military, a lot of the things that were used to try to defend Iran were Russian and Chinese made, and they certainly didn't work. Okay, we have 11. So I said 10 to 20, lower end. So we have 11 aircraft carriers. In all of those wargaming scenarios, we lose every major maritime battle against China. Would everybody and by the way, according to Pete Hegseth, chances are, because this is what was testified to by the head of the United States Air Force on Capitol Hill during the Biden administration, is that we are lacking greatly in hypersonic technology. So what Pete Hegseth espouses in that video, which was made during the Biden administration, is that they could potentially destroy 10 out of our 11 aircraft carriers in the first several hours of any war using their hypersonic missile technologies, which would be a problem. So what's the answer to all this? They have a more technologically advanced Navy, which hurts our base of our entire military is our aircraft carriers and our Navy, because that's what is amphibious. That's what's able to go land and sea. So the Chinese has a larger, more technologically advanced Navy. All the war games that have ever been run by the military show us losing to China badly. We're way behind in hypersonic technology and could potentially lose all of our aircraft carriers in the first several hours of the war. And what's the answer to this? Let's attack Iran. Tell me how that makes sense to any of you. Tell me how that makes sense. And these are the same exact people. Lindsey Graham dutifully took his shots, his COVID vaccinations, wore his mask, and locked down. Ted Cruz dutifully took his vaccinations, locked down. Mitch McConnell dutifully took his vaccinations and locked down. Donald Trump dutifully took his vaccinations, locked down. Susie Wiles dutifully took her vaccinations, locked down. Miriam Adelson dutifully took her vaccinations and locked down. Benjamin Netanyahu dutifully took his vaccinations and locked down. Same thing, same people over and over and over and over again. When are you going to wake up? Tom, didn't you vote for Trump after all that? Yes. Certainly is better. And I long for the first 6 months of this administration. Man, it was great. With Elon and all that, it was freaking great. And then you broke your cardinal promise, no new wars. I believe we're on day 15 of this war, day 15, day 16 of this war now. And nobody can say, well, you know what, Tom, it was a 12-minute strike into the depths of Iran, took out their nuclear capabilities. And then you still have Mike Johnson saying that they're an imminent threat. Mike, name it. Name it. You watch videos of Christians or just critics street interviewing Mormons. Watch them. They can't answer one tenet of their faith because they don't know anything about it. They don't know the Bible. These people cannot answer one question. What was the imminent threat? Nuclear weapon. How are they going to deliver it here? And didn't we just decimate their nuclear capability? Weren't we told that it was all gone in June of 2025? I just don't understand how people follow the same idiots over and over and over again into the same travesties. I mean, 35 million people have died of that vaccination, the COVID vaccination. And the same people that pimped and hoarded it under Operation Warp Speed are pushing you into this war. Which, by the way, Operation Warp Speed was what? A what op? A DOD op. Proven. Should I get into that for 45 minutes, Aaron? It has to be a DOD op because in order for you to get emergency use authorizations, it has to go through the DOD.
Yep.
Has to be a terroristic threat. Absolutely worth. I mean, it's unreal. I don't really. I mean, and then here's the saddest part of all. Ready? Saddest part of it all is this. Once everybody gets proven wrong, they won't come out and say it. That's what pisses me off.
Yeah.
More than anything. See, like, Aaron is a very good friend of mine. Will is a friend of mine. I know them both. I've worked with both of them for years now. When they're wrong, you know what they say? They're wrong.
Yep.
And they know because I've blown up at both of them and I was wrong blowing up at them on the podcast here many times. Sometimes I've been right. They still didn't deserve to be treated that way. But sometimes I was right in what I said, but not how I said it. But when I'm wrong, they know. I'm going to turn to them and say, I blew it. I was wrong.
Yep.
I chased Will out the door recently and told him, hey, sorry about how I acted. I was wrong. I don't know if I said I was sorry how I acted, but I am sorry how I acted. Sorry how I acted. I was wrong because I acted like he was the one who couldn't find something. It was me who didn't get it. It was me who didn't send it in. So I make sure I chased him out and let him know. That's what ticks me off the most. Now, I want all these people now, if you're watching this, you stumble upon this podcast. Once it's proven that Joe Kent was not fired or leaked classified information, all right, I want to see all the posts. You don't have to ever watch the podcast again, but log into the chat and say those vaunted 3 words. And by the way, if it gets proven that Joe Kent did get fired and did leak classified information, I'll launch my show with it.
Yep.
And say I was wrong. But you won't, will you? Honestly, will you? Will you? That's why people can't stay married. That's why the people can't stay Christians, because they cannot confess their sin. They cannot admit they're wrong. So they cannot hang in there. They can't hang in a relationship. And they can't hang in the relationship with God because they can never come out and be broken and contrite. The Lord is nigh to them that are of a broken heart and a contrite spirit. That's who the Lord is close to. All right. It's Psalm 34:18, just so you know. All right, Alex Jones video. You are literally, here's Mark Levin.
Yay.
This is the person that we all, Aaron, put that side by side, would you? This is who we need to be following into the gates of hell. This guy right here. We need to be following him into the gates of hell. A fat guy who never leaves his basement, who has torn allegiance and or has more of an allegiance to Israel than the United States of America. And let me just make this clear for everyone. Everybody ever watch Joel Webbin? Need to watch him. He follows me on Twitter. I followed him back. He has a far larger following than I do. But just so everybody knows, again, he's just talking about the worst of Christians are those who tell people, and again, this is right out of Proverbs 24:24, he that saith unto the wicked, thou art righteous, him shall the people curse, nations shall abhor him. And, again, kind of echoed in 2 Peter 2:18, for when they speak great swelling words of emptiness, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through lewdness, the ones who have actually escaped from those who live in error. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are slaves of corruption, for by whom a person is overcome, by him also he's brought into bondage. I threw in 2 Peter 2:19 also. But anyway, he talks about the worst of Christians are the ones who tell people that they're saved or through some sort of pseudo connection to Christianity are saved. Telling people that aren't saved that they're saved, or people that are, and that's why I showed that video last night, telling people that aren't saved they're saved, or telling people that aren't saved that they're saved through some sort of tacit connection to Christianity, i.e. telling Jewish people who are not Messianic Jews that they are saved. And that's what a lot of churches are doing. Then they treat non-Messianic Jews, they treat people who are just run-of-the-mill Israelis as if they are covenant brothers with Christians. And let me just again throw this out to everybody, because it's said over and over and over again. Consider therefore the kindness and sternness of God. Sternness to those who fell, but kindness to you, provided that you continue his kindness, otherwise you also will be cut off. Who's he talking to about being cut off? Aaron, who's he talking about?
Christians?
What he's talking about, the first people, consider therefore the kindness and sternness of God. Sternness to those who fell. Read the 11th chapter of the book of Romans. Who's he talking to in the first part? You're right about the second part, Aaron.
Yeah.
The first part, he's talking to Jews.
Yep.
Cut off. So how, if they're cut off, then how is blessing Israel blessing me?
Right.
And then that's what Joel Webbin's talking about when he says you're sitting there and you're treating people like they're saved when they're not, because they have a tacit connection to Christianity, because Christianity occurred in the nation state of Israel, roughly.
Right.
What's the matter with you? The new Israel is the church of Jesus Christ. We are the chosen ones. It says it in the Bible. Over and over, but you are, 1 Peter 2, 9 and 10, but you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people. What about what Ted Cruz says, that Israel is a special people? No, not anymore. New covenant trumps the old. The new covenant set up, the old covenant set up the new, but the new now trumps the old. When you get a new mortgage, do you hold on to your old one? When you refi, do you abide by the old one? Because you normally would refi to get a far, better mortgage, right? So here, Alex Jones video. You are literally Hitler if you don't want to bomb Iran. Here's the new leader of MAGA, Mark Levin. Play it for me.
Donald Trump is operating in the tradition of our greatest peacetime/wartime presidents. Despite the outrageous media coverage in this country, despite the constant efforts under Operation Sabotage by a Democrat Party that is hell-bent on losing this war, that is hell-bent on undermining the commander-in-chief, that is hell-bent on undermining our armed forces, and yes, is giving aid and comfort, propaganda to the enemy, as are individuals who I call the woke right neo-fascists, who are stirring the anti-Semitism pot, who are stirring the trash Christian pot. They are no different than the same voices we heard in the 1930s, and just as disgusting, evil, and reprehensible. All this talk about this war wasn't imminent. Why did we decide now? All this talk about what is the mission. All of this is used to try and obstruct, undermine, dispirit, and divide this nation. At a time when Donald Trump is doing what great presidents do. Shame on you, Democrats, for what you are doing to this country. You will be remembered forever. You will be remembered as the isolationists of the 1930s. Shame on you, woke right neo-fascists. You will be remembered as the unpatriotic, anti-American Jew haters that you are. I ask you, what do you think Jefferson and Madison would do in these circumstances today? What do you think Franklin Roosevelt would do in these circumstances today? Or Abraham Lincoln, or George Washington, or even Ronald Reagan when they didn't have nuclear weapons in Iran? What do you think they would do? They would take action.
So Will just chimed in the answer to Mark Levin's last question. What would this president say? What he would say, stay in our hemisphere. That's what they said. And that's what we're doing. That's what you're supposed to do. That's why you didn't hear me say a bad word about the Maduro raid, did you? And you won't hear me say a bad word about basically overthrowing Cuba right now, which Trump is doing. It's great because there's probably a Chinese base on Cuba as we speak. So that you won't hear me say a bad word about it. But anyway, so I wrote down what I am now, and by the new MAGA leader. Listen, because the last time, what was I, Aaron?
Fake MAGA.
Fake MAGA. I was fake MAGA during the first. Get this. So I was labeled fake MAGA during the first Iran 12-hour war, whatever you want to call it. I was fake MAGA then because I opposed that, and part of the reason why I was fake MAGA is that I espoused that this wouldn't be the end of it.
Right.
So I was fake MAGA. Now that I'm right, I'm wondering where all the fake MAGA people are. Like there was like Trump girl 211 and Trump, Trump guy 414 and all those different idiots out there. I was labeled fake MAGA because I was against what Trump said he was against. So if Trump is MAGA and I'm against what Trump is against, then wouldn't Trump be the one who's anti-MAGA when he does anti-MAGA things? Yep. If MAGA is a set of principles, and the leader of MAGA is Trump, and Trump violates those list, one of the principles on the list, or several of them, doesn't it make him anti-MAGA as the leader of MAGA? And then when he says that basically anybody, and this is all documented in last night's podcast, that if you are against Mark Levin, you're no longer MAGA. When Mark Levin has never been MAGA, has never espoused MAGA, hates MAGA, and is just using MAGA as a two-pit whore to carry out Israel's demands. That's it. Now that he's found an inroad in there, and somebody wrote it was Abigail, USA Abigail put in there, Trump needs to get the heck away from Lindsey Graham. Now, and all of us as MAGA hated Lindsey Graham, figuratively. We hated what Lindsey Graham stood for, right? But now Lindsey Graham is getting everything he wants, and that becomes correct because Trump's doing what Lindsey Graham wants now? How does that make sense to you? And I know that I'm preaching to the choir right now primarily, but I'm just like, how does anybody come to that? So anyway, I was fake MAGA in June of 2025 because of what I correctly espoused, that this was the beginning of a war, which it is. Yep. And now, because I was right, I'm now woke right neo-fascist. Quote, the same as those in the 1930s. So so now that I am akin to Goebbels and Hitler, and Hermann Goering and all the rest of them, I'm curious what I have in common with them. Aaron, how much of a Christian was Hitler?
None.
None. Okay. So we got that. So I don't have that in common with him.
Right.
I don't have in common that he wants to ban guns, right, and that and he's the. Again, now I'm against the person who wanted to conduct mass medical experiments on people, but now the leader of MAGA, the leader of MAGA is saying that I'm just like that person, but I was totally against it. When Mark Levin was actually for mass experimentations on people via the vaccination. Weird. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Weird. Suddenly, once again, I'm being called a Nazi by a Nazi. It's odd, isn't it? That I have absolutely nothing in common with them whatsoever. The thing is, too, is I have no interest in exterminating anyone, because for me to exterminate somebody means that I'm going to spend eternity in hell from being a murderer. So I have no interest in extermination. So obviously, I'm not much like Hitler as a woke right neo-fascist, same as Hitler, according to Mark Levin. And just so everybody knows out there. Watch Mark. If you want to be, like sycophantically pro-Trump, you can be. But now that Trump has come out and said you can't be part of MAGA if you don't support Mark Levin, please go back and watch the last 2 years of Mark Levin. Go back. and you will then find out that Trump can make mistakes and he's not deity. You'll find that out. I got to show you this one. This is, is this the one that I'm looking for? Let me see. Okay. Gunther Eagleman?
Yes, sir.
All right. Gunther Eagleman video. I don't know if I want to show this.
You want the Tucker one?
Yeah, that's the one I really want to go to. Let me see here. Leadership matters, left and right alike. It's found Trump. Oh no, this is polling. I like this polling. All right, now I got to show both sides. All right, so here it is. Leadership matters. Harry Enton video. That's why Aaron had it up the whole time. But anyway, I wasn't paying attention. I was reading the lines. I'm actually looking at the screen. The left and right alike. Here, this is Harry Enton from CNN. All the polling data. The left and right alike has spent nearly every waking second attacking Trump for what he's done in Iran. But the data tells the truth. This is Harry Enton, who's very pro-Trump. Tucker Carlson BD'd. This war is very popular. among the GOP base. Play for me.
All right, with us now, CNN chief data analyst Harry.
I'm looking at you with that same
It's the same way that they look at each other here. Look, when you talk about the prediction markets, how has, what's happened to Marco Rubio's stock over the last few weeks?
Marco Rubio is hot, 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 like a summer heat wave. I mean, just take a look here. Over the last 6 months, Chance Rubio's the 2028 GOP presidential nominee. He was just at 7% 6 months ago. Hello, up like a rocket, 27% chance now. What is that? That's quadrupling his chances in 4 months' time. Marco Rubio's chances, according to the Kalshi prediction markets, way, way up.
Okay, why?
Why? Why are his chances way, way up? Well, one of the reasons why his chances are way, way up is because the MAGA base really likes the U.S. military action in Iran. Take a look here. Okay, MAGA GOP on the U.S. military action in Iran. Look at this. Nearly 9 in 10, 89% approve of the U.S. military action in Iran. That is the MAGA GOP base. Just 9% disapprove of it. This is tremendously popular among the Republican base. And, of course, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, overseeing the effort. It seems to me that a lot of people are taking that into account, including President Donald Trump, who has been smiling an awful lot at Marco Rubio lately.
Look at those smiles right there. No, again, and I should say that this also gets to the issue of how popular is this war in the president's base. According to the numbers, pretty popular.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson be darned. This war is very popular among the GOP base.
When we see, the approval of the war here, when we talk about Marco Rubio gaining in the prediction markets, how does his popularity compare to other secretaries of state?
Yeah, if we look within his own party, right, you see this 89%. This is reflective of a larger popularity happy issue that Marco Rubio has. I mean, just take a look here. Okay, own party approval of Secretary of State about at this point in the presidency. Look at this. Marco Rubio at 81% among Republicans at this point, significantly higher than Tony Blinken was, of course, who was Joe Biden's Secretary of State at this point in the Joe Biden presidency. He was only at 73%. So I think Donald Trump is also looking at these numbers, seeing, hey, this is a popular guy amongst the Republican base, and the actions he's overseeing are also quite popular. Maybe he's someone I might want to get behind for 2028.
How is Secretary of State as a job for a stepping stone to the presidency?
It's a very good stepping stone to the presidency, at least historically speaking. Eventually elected president without ascending due to the death of a president. Look at this. 6 secretaries of state went on to be president. That's actually the same number as for vice presidents who, of course, did not ascend just because of the death of a president, who were elected. And so you see these numbers, you say, hey, secretaries of state, they can very well be president. Maybe Marco Rubio might be.
But it was like Jefferson in Madison.
Hey, Thomas Jefferson is a sacred name in this household, okay?
All right, we don't need them rattling on. That shows you now. The question is who do they actually poll? Because that's not at all what I'm seeing. I don't see 89% of Republicans approve. That's not what I see. And 9% disapprove. Certainly not what I see. But this is how we lose. This is how we lose. Because we're doing these things that are horrendously unpopular for no reason. I understand doing things that are unpopular. But when we do that it's unpopular, that actually makes a difference, that is the right thing to do, fine with it. I mean, it wasn't even really unpopular. A lot of that was Goebbels' propaganda media. But mass deportations, now that's off the table now. When's the last time you even heard the term mass deportation? When was the last time you even heard the term illegal alien? That's all gone. It's off the news now. And that's strange how that works too, because just prior to this war beginning, or just after it began, I can't remember, so I don't want to be erroneous, but just prior to or right after the war began, there was a meeting down with leading Republicans to do it like a strategy session about the midterms, and starting a brand new war is a great way to win a midterm. Alienating half your base, because I don't believe this 89%, is not a great way to win midterms. And I'm going out to vote Republican, just so you know. I am in the midterms. But anyway, I'll even vote for the person. I have to look at, I mean, this wasn't run through Congress, so I don't know. Obviously, I don't know where my own Congress Stubby stands on it. But anyway, I'm fine with doing unpopular things. Fine, as long as they're the correct thing to do. It's very unpopular to outlaw abortion with 50% of America. I agree 100% with outlawing abortion. Yep. I agree 100% with the Maduro raid. I agree with closing the southern border. I agree with mass deportations of every illegal, which most of the Democrats support. almost all Republicans and all independents support, but somehow we stopped doing that. And what was strange is this meeting in Doral, it's almost as if they wanted mass deportations to be off the headlines. And now what's in the headlines? Strange how it all just kind of works that way, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Because Republicans felt like they were being taken down by this mass immigration. Am I saying that a war was conducted for that reason? I'm not, but you never know. You just never know anymore. I got to show you this video. This is just pure entertainment. So I want, again, to all those that are in support of this war, your guy in this debate is Teddy Cruz. And I don't care. People can say whatever they want. It's Ted Cruz versus Tucker Carlson. 3 minutes worth. People can say whatever they want about Tucker. Listen, I find Tucker to be irritating. Okay. I like him. Okay. But I think he's demeaning, sarcastic, and I don't like his bourgeois elitism at times, where he sits there and antagonizes people by acting all sarcastic and bellowing laughter and all that crap. Yeah, I hate that. I don't like any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I still like him, okay? And he says stupid crap. Like he basically said he rode around London and felt there was no threat from Muslims. Because, again, the problem is this, is people feel like you have to be pro-Muslim to be anti-anything Israel does. I am anti-Muslim, 100% anti-Islam, all right? But I'm certainly not pro what Israel does a lot of the time. You can be both. You can actually believe that both do evil things.
Yeah.
So Tucker blew it with that, but again, it was extraneous, isolated comments. So you don't really know what the context was. So because Tommy Robinson ripped into him, and it's funny because I love Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson's pro-Israel. Mm-hmm. Fine. I still love Tommy Robinson. I still love Tucker. I don't agree sometimes with how he conducts himself, and sometimes he does some of the greatest interviews ever because he actually lets people talk. But anyway, here's Tucker versus Cruz, and everybody who's for this war you are Cruz in this debate. And everybody who's anti this war is Tucker. Play it for me.
And shame on you for suggesting otherwise, and I mean that.
Shame on you is cute, by the way, Tucker.
And once again, shame on you for conflating the two.
I believe Tucker Carlson is the single most dangerous demagogue in this country. And I'll tell you, I've made the decision that I'm going to take him on head directly.
You're the one who went to motive. I'm asking honest questions.
I'm
just asking questions. Yes, that's it. That is what I'm doing.
I was taught from the Bible. Those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I don't have the scripture off the tip of my...
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah,
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government. It's in Genesis. But so you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two...
Hold on. Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what? Hold on. Define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
So is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yet nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the
God's
descendants of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is. Okay. Into that, I'm just saying I don't think Israel's the only one. But it's the only one where you're instantly called an anti-Semite for asking questions. And it's also the only government that no one will ever criticize.
And criticize Israel every minute of every day. Like, the only government that people will not criticize, Rashida Tlaib just tweeted out calling Benjamin Netanyahu a war criminal.
Rashida Tlaib? No,
You said no one will criticize.
No, I'm talking about Republicans that I would vote for, including you. And I'm saying, whatever. I don't even like talking about Israel. What I care about, I never do, because it's not worth being called anti-Semites from AIPAC recipients. But now we are on the verge of joining a war, and I just want to be clear about why we're doing this.
All right, so let's do some theology in closing tonight. So the verse is Genesis chapter 12, verse 3. Here it is. This is how Ted Cruz decides to nuke Iran. Okay, this is how he believes that Israel wants a war with Iran, has always wanted a war with Iran. Strangely, we just decided to do it because of the imminent threat to America from 7,000 miles away without an ability to deliver a missile. But anyway, here's the verse. Genesis chapter 12, verse 3. I will bless those who bless you. Who's he talking to? Abram. He's not even talking to Jacob, who's called Israel.
Right. Oops.
I will curse him who curses you, and in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. That's the verse. That Ted Cruz believes that you need to support OnlyFans and Pornhub. Unequivocally, because Pornhub is owned by an Israeli Jew. Israeli Jew rabbi. Pornhub.
Yep.
The number one contributor to AIPAC is OnlyFans. So you are to unequivocally support Pornhub and OnlyFans. Otherwise, you're going to be cursed. You have to go and support Rabbi Shmuley or even Benjamin Netanyahu, who's from Poland and doesn't even have a Jewish name. He's the ski. S-K-I. Can't remember his name now. But anyway, you have to unequivocally, blindly, I guess, buy dildos from Rabbi Shmuley and his daughter because they do sex toy commercials together. It's weird.
Yeah.
But you know what, Aaron? Don't say that.
Right.
Because you're not allowed to say that.
Right.
Because if you dare not bless Rabbi Shmuley, you're going to be cursed.
Yeah, I'm going to be cursed.
That's right. That's where Ted Cruz decides. He doesn't even know the population, 92 million of the nation state of Iran. He doesn't know any of those things. So then he's asked, Tucker says, thank you, Aaron. Benjamin, what do you think, Aaron?
Milikowski, probably.
Milikowski. That's Benjamin Netanyahu, just so you know.
Yeah.
Benjamin Milikowski. All of these quote unquote Jews, by the way, Jews means exclusively from the tribe of Judah. Okay, out of the 12.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. But so Tucker simply asked Ted Cruz, so you're saying that I'm going to be blessed or I'm going to be cursed. If I bless the government run by Benjamin Netanyahu, I'll be blessed. If I curse the government run by Benjamin Netanyahu, I'll be cursed. And Ted Cruz's response is, we are commanded to support the nation of Israel. Where was the command anyway? Did anybody see the command? God just says, first of all, if you want to pretend that he's taught okay, here it is. I mean, again, I could spend all night on this.
Yeah.
Go to the 4th chapter of the book of Romans. What covenant are we under?
New.
Okay, we're under the new covenant, which is equated to the priestly order of Melchizedek, the Abrahamic covenant, the priestly order of Melchizedek, where Melchizedek is paralleled to Jesus himself, right?
Yep.
Right. So we are in the Abrahamic covenant. That's what we're really in. The covenant of faith. Abraham believed God and it was credited to him as righteousness. Romans chapter 4, verse 3, right? Abraham believed God. It was credited to him as righteousness. Covenant of faith. So we are in the Abrahamic covenant. Who is he talking to there? Who's he talking to?
Abraham.
Abraham. So if you bless those under the Abrahamic covenant, not the law,
right?
Not Judaism,
right?
The pre-law Abrahamic Melchizedek covenant, you'll be blessed. Who is that? Those who are saved under the blood of the Lamb, Jew or Gentile.
Yep.
Whoops. You talk about being an idiot. Ted Cruz is a chin beard, neck beard wearing moron. You're just a flat out dummy. Okay, why in the world, why would you even think that that's Israel? The person named Israel, it'd have to be Jacob that's there. And there's no command.
Right.
It doesn't say, you shall. It says, if you do, basically. So it's just garbage. Absolute garbage. All right, 10-14, that's good. And it got to nothing tonight. Got to absolutely nothing. This is the stack. I got to nothing. See, I don't even, that's how thick it is. Got to nothing. All right, what do we got?
We got 5.
We got 5 rants. Let's do it.
CA1960 donated $5. Here you go.
Here we go. CA960, 1960. Love you, brother. Let's go to the next one.
Nude Monk donated $20. China's newest aircraft carrier is named the Changzhang Fang Fang.
Nude Monk's fascination with Fang Fang continues on. You are hysterical, Nude Monk. Love you. Go to the next one for me.
Craig Ninemon donated $20. Foundation Church.
That's the church I pastor. Love you guys. Join us every Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. Go to the next one for me.
Jules 21 Hours donated $10. TLP saying it like it is. Thank you.
Yeah, just telling the truth. That's it. You tell the truth, or I'll tell you it's my opinion. It's just you just factually espouse the things that are going on. That's what you do. I don't just say, oh no, this person he didn't resign, he was fired. And then Trump says he resigned. The person about to fire him would be Donald J. Trump or Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard getting permission from Donald J. Trump to fire Joe Kent. But no, I'm just going to make it up and say that a war veteran, Green Beret, Gold Star husband, he leaked classified information. I'm just going to make that up because that makes me feel better about Trump. I don't play those games ever. All right, that's
one
good.
More.
Oh, I got one more. Oh,
Yep.
I thought that was it.
One more.
Oh, one more.
Robin Aroni donated $10.
Robin Aroni.
Truth and facts. Bring it, TLP.
Thank you, Robin Aroni. Love you guys. Love you so much. Appreciate you. You're always here. Jules 21 Hours always comes to the church. Love you guys so much. I guess that's it. I could go on more and more tonight, but I'm not going to do it. Sorry, 10-15. But anyway, 465 people watching right now. Love each and every one of you. I love the people that even left, got mad and left. I love you too. You're just wrong. The question is, once you get found out that you're wrong, are you going to come out and say you're wrong? That's the key. That's called repentance. But anyway, back here tomorrow night, as always, at 9 o'clock. Stick around for the post game. Pretty light, pretty easy. Stick around for the post game. You're going to love it. One last time. God bless you.
Who do you have more in common with, a Trump supporter or a radical Islamist?
Radical Islamist.
You saw someone wearing one of those red hats chanting "Make America Great Again," or you saw someone shouting "Allahu Akbar" running down the breezeway here. Who would you feel more safe with?
The one shouting Allahu Akbar. Yeah.
You would support the radical Islamists.
Yeah.
What is it about Trump supporters that you don't think you'd get along with them so well?
I'm gay.
But you would get along with a radical Islamist?
Yes.
And you're gay?
Yes.
In solidarity with radical Islamists, would you look at the camera and say in solidarity, Allahu Akbar?
Allahu Akbar.
And would you say "Make America Great Again" in solidarity with the Trump supporters?
No.
What is a bigger threat to America today, radical Islam or Trump supporters?
Trump supporters.
I'll say Trump. Trump supporters and MAGA.
Yeah.
I would say Trump supporters and MAGA. I would have to go with the Trump supporters.
Trump supporters and MAGA.
Trump supporters and MAGA.
I'd say MAGA. But we should be able to allow people to be who they are.
Yeah. Even if they're a radical Islamist.
Yes. There's no right to judge them.
So if someone came running down the street, Allahu Akbar, or if there was someone on the opposite side saying, "Make America Great Again," and got my red hat on, which side would you run to?
I don't know.
As Christians, and we're following Christ, do you think it's important to call out radical Islam?
No, because it's a freedom of religion.
Yeah, it's a freedom of religion. How many terrorist attacks did Trump supporters engage in last week?
So many.
Just guess.
Thousands.
If you're a radical Islamist watching this right now, we pray for your conversion.
It's whatever they want to do, then do it. Whatever they want to do, then do it. Whatever they want to do, then do it.
Is that a layup? That was good.
Oh, shoot. You all right, Grandpa? Oh, no way.
You only want.
nailed it.
You're right.
Oh, whoa. Heads up.
Oh my. No.
What's that? Do you want to get back in the car?
You looking for this?
The license plate? Perfect.
Right here. On mine. All right? Thank you.
I have to read it. What's the problem?
Problem is you stop me and rarely I never get stopped.
You have no plates on the car. Makes pretty sense to me.
I got hit by a damn school bus. How the fuck I'm gonna put plates on the car?
Oh wow.
Do it make sense?
So you're the only car on the roadway that doesn't need license plates? Can I see your license plate?
It's one in the front.
Perfect, thank you. And I need to see your ID again, okay?
No, you don't. No, you don't. You saw everything you needed to see. Now I shall be on my way because
if you drive away, you're going to get arrested.
For what? For what?
For not providing the proper information.
For what? I have provided the right information. Bruh, dead ass. What you looking for? What you looking for? What the fuck you looking for? Now close my door. Bro, dead ass. Close my door. Bro, close my... Bro, what are you doing? I don't know who you think you're doing this shit to. Bro, why are you trying to touch my door? We're not traffic. Get out of the car. No. Get out of the car.
Oh my God.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car. No, get out of the car. No, because like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to break my door? Get out of the car. I'm going to get you out of the car. Bro, what am I doing? Get out of the car.
Hey, just cooperate.
Get out of that touch me. Can you stop? Get out of the car. You're literally... Bro, my back is literally hurt from the last time I got in an accident. Don't ever fucking touch me, bro.
Stop.
No, please let me go. Please let me go. Because in all honesty, for what? For what? I've done nothing. Bro.
Damn, dog.
Why did you escalate all this, okay?
Y'all escalated it. Because I've done nothing. Bro, I've done nothing.
Hold on. Just
I'm still not even resisting. Fuck you doing, bitch?
Take a breath.
No.
Take a breath.
Bro, what am I being arrested for? Fucker, you just tried to slam that door on me.
I love anal.
Yeah. Yep.
Will you page I love anal to electronics? There we go.
I was just wondering if you can call for my brother to meet me back up here.
Who's your brother?
Last name is Fection, and first name is Easton.
Spell your last name, Dave.
F-E-C-T-I-O-N.
Paging a customer, Easton Fection. Please come to the fitting room. Easton Fection. Please come to the fitting room to meet your party.
She said that you can call for my brother real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Is it Mike?
Yeah.
His last name?
Hoochie.
Hoochie?
Yeah.
Attention customers, can I please have Mike Hoochie to the service desk, please? Can I please have Mike Hoochie to the service desk? Thank you.
Rubbity.
Rubbity?
Yeah. My last name's Snuts.
Rubbity Snot, can you meet the party at the fitting room? Rubbity Snot, can you meet the party at the fitting room?
So if the NFL divisions are broken up by North, South, East, and West, then the Jacksonville Jaguars would be South. AFC South. It's because Florida is South. That's why. Which means Tampa Bay would also be AFC South. No. They would be in the NFC South. You know, so it's because they're not in the AFC, they're in the NFC. That's why. Which means if you placed a bet on Bovada for Miami to win their division, that division would be NFC South. No. What would you think? AFC South. No. The Miami Dolphins are going to be in the AFC East. You know, so it's because the AFC South is going to have other teams that are farther north, like the Tennessee Titans, the Indianapolis Colts. You know, so also, you should never bet on Miami winning the AFC East. You know, so it's because the New England Patriots are also in that division. That's why.
Yeah, baby! This is what it's all about, guys! Yeah! Woo! Yeah!
talk about a lot of political things, but underneath all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.